That lady up the back has waited patiently to ask her question. Hopefully she still remembers it. So, was it yourself?
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. We're very new to this. My daughter was only diagnosed 6 months ago, and it was only on Wednesday at her clinic that they mentioned pump for the first time, and she's just doing a 3-day water trial at the moment. But they've mentioned the 3 pumps that are going to be available to us when the time comes. But I just wondered about the 670. Is that way down the line, or is that something?
So do we have a representative from Medtronic here today? Okay, grand. They didn't show up. So the 670, I don't think it will be here before October or November, because the companies, and some companies might confirm this, can only apply to have a product updated once a year, and the contractors only invited tender applications last October. So I'm thinking October, November. However, if the sensor, and I don't know how reliable or up to date my information is on the sensor, if that isn't approved by that time, they can't submit an application to update it. So I don't know what the time delay is on the approval for the new, because it's a brand new sensor with the 670G. So, the end of the year is not that long for people who have been waiting a long time.
Yeah, and hearing what people are saying, whether that's even the right choice to make, we're been guided that seems to be a very popular one in the Peace Hospital at the moment, but I'm looking at the bigger picture, and the more I would learn, given that this is new to me, would I have wished I chose maybe the Ipsomed or something like that further down the line, or it's just very confusing.
Well,
is it worth
for your first pump, I think it's a good point to go.
I think now to give us more opportunity to get funding when, say, the 670 comes out, or to use our funding opportunity. We self-fund now by whatever means necessary. I think
a lot of people go with Medtronic because they know it has the suspend on low, which is kind of their version of a closed loop system. But it's a very big pump, and a lot of people are using that even with Dexcoms just because they like the look and feel of it. The Ipso pump is a very small, portable, trendy little pump, and hopefully it will come to a point where it can be used in closed loop systems. The Combo is the only pump you can get at the moment that sort of loops out of the box, if you like, that you can just plug it into your Android phone and can work with Android APS. But it's a bit fiddly to set up. It's scraping the screen in the background. It's not really sending commands directly. So there's pros and cons for them all. And the older pumps were really the only ones that used to work, but now I think you can use the newer Medtronic pumps in a closed loop system with the UCD Dublin. I think, you might know, but I think the 670 works with
670G is its own closed loop. It doesn't work with the DIY systems.
So if Keith and Shirley had that for their son, would they be happy or not?
No.
Well, I think I'm trying to think, was it your whose presentation was it? Probably was Kate, where they were saying anyway that the DIY systems at the moment are 2 years ahead of where the current best closed loop system that's on the market, which is the 670, which isn't pediatrically available at the moment anyway. And I think there was only a couple of people in the north that it's probably not here in adult clinics. I think it is approved for adults, but I'm not even sure it's approved. Is it for pediatric use in Ireland yet?
No, because the sensor's not approved.
It's not approved. So in our experience, just the system, something that isn't even approved yet probably isn't going to be available in the very short term.
Yeah, which is why we're wondering, should we self-fund our pump now to keep the funding pot?
If I was buying my own pump, I'd probably go with the Dana RS because it could work with Android APS, but getting supplies, you'd have to go to Advanced Therapeutics in the UK or something to get them, or get them off the internet. But it's not available here, so sourcing the pump and even getting permission to buy it over in the UK can be jumping through a few hoops. But the standard coming down the line from the US seems to be the T-Slim X2 with the Dexcom, I think, as a commercial closed loop system.
Would you be particularly interested in the closed loop for the first pump?
No, not
necessarily. Not like you
saying
it's probably against it, obviously, but I mean the 640G does the suspend on low. The other two pumps, you just learn how to work them.
And if you're prepared to self-fund for a pump, maybe start out with what's going to be funded for you, and then maybe a year or two, if you're ready to jump in, you can self-fund then.
I think you know what you might want, or ask for a trial of the pumps available so that you can just get a feel for a pump or what a pump is, or do you have a CGM?
We've just got a meow meow for our
Libra.
words.
Yeah.
I think,
So
if you look at the MARD, of the effectiveness of the CGMs, especially if you're using a closed loop system, like I'm probably biased, but we've been Dexcom all the way, and Dexcom is the most reliable. And the G4 was the first one that was suitable. G5 is better than the G4. G6, you're FDA approved to bolus from it, and hopefully the G6 will be approved here in the coming months as well.
Yeah.
But the problem is, a lot of people know that and they want the Dexcom, but they're looking at the Medtronic pumps, and they're going with this Dexcom Medtronic combination, but you don't get the suspend on those, so it's kind of a bizarre situation.
The Medtronic rep told me that the MARD for the G3, which he says will be approved in June, is 8.7, which is lower than anything else I think that. So I don't know.
That's the new standard.
Yeah.
If I was working on the pumps that we can get in Ireland, which for closed loop, and your experience from both of you, which is the combo, would you, for instance, Tomas, would you move now to a combo Android APS system, given your experience? And you were talking about kit and how you have to develop your kit in terms of perhaps shrinking it. I mean, it seems like the combo Android system seems to be very neat, certainly.
Yeah, much less kit to carry around. But
yeah.
At the time I started this, I wasn't using that kit. I had a Medtronic 640G.
Yeah,
so
I think
you become very familiar with what you have and very attached to it. Like you might say, well, logically that's a bit smaller, but I really know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Like me and my combo, I'm happy with it, but it might probably have the best pump.
Yeah, but of course we only have one choice every 4 years, so when that choice comes down, it's like we have 3 pumps in Ireland. Medtronic is useless because it won't talk to anyone except itself. Ipso only wants to talk to itself at the moment, and then so it's really just a Spirit combo that we are left with.
It's not available.
No.
No.
By the when? No.
Sorry, Thomas, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, just if somebody decided to go, for example, the combo, because you can use it for looping, you've now excluded the possibility of getting a Medtronic, which has some aspects of has a low suspend. So basically, it's a possibility of switching off the delivery of insulin on going low. It's much less flexible than a closed looping system, but I would say don't go for the AccuCheck just because it can do closed looping, because you mightn't get there. You mightn't get to do closed looping. There's a lot of work involved. You've seen the amount of work Keith, although
I had hair when I started.
There's a lot of work involved in getting closed loop up and running. Whereas with Medtronic, you do have a little bit of it, but not maybe as much as you'd like.
You're on that Medtronic upgrade path, so theoretically you're going to end up with a closed loop system in 4 years' time, that you're in the Medtronic basket.
I'm due one now. Mine runs out in June.
Yes, that's the question.
It's probably the biggest question at the moment on participation.
No, I think I'm just going to hold off and try do this until I get the
So can you then to walk see that lady through there? Like if I was to get the Spirit combo, what kind of work? Keith, you have experience with the combo and the Android. What would we expect to face into?
Well,
I know it's hard.
You have to get a phone that's got the right operating
That's really what we're here to do. I want to know what would I.
I have to get a phone.
So
What do I
without
have to
getting
do?
too
Yeah, well, maybe I can cover that afterwards because it's probably a longer answer.
So there are 2 websites at the moment. There's the Loop website and Dana's website.
There's the Android APS docs, the Open APS docs, the Loop docs. If you want a high-level reading, there's Artificial Pancreas book site. But if you have questions, also, it's great to ask these questions in the Facebook group, like Looped UK. Because I would recommend I would hear from people who've tried the 670 and tried each of these pumps with and without closed loop to get a little bit of wider perspective.
I think if you can get a second pump to muck about with, then that's a good way of getting into it rather than tying yourself into it on the tender.
I would say also you can talk to me afterwards, because I'm actually on that path at the moment of what to do next, and it's probably better to talk with personal preferences one-to-one.
What I was going to say is when I didn't know anybody when I was going to... No, I'm not looping at the moment, but I did give it a go for about 2 months, and then my insulin pump failed, so I'm back to Animas. read the website. Start with reading the documentation, the setup guides, and then because you're going to have to figure all this out for yourself. So then start figuring out, okay, if I do this system, what do I need to do that? If I do this system, like what system is right for me, and then get your bits. But start with the 2 websites. Start there.
Yeah, and I also say through 3 websites. I also say though that whatever pump you end up with, if you choose like, oh, this is just too much work, I don't like this, you're going to fall back to that pump. And if there's something going wrong with the software or the hardware or something like that, you're going to fall back to that pump. So whatever pump you end up with is a pump that you want to be able to use without any other fancy stuff added on top of it.
Can you repeat the websites that you've just...
You know, let's we can send it around to the people who register here. All
if
right?
you've registered today, Eventbrite still has your emails, and I'll send an email of information out.
But it's the pinned post in all of the Facebook Loop groups.
Yes.
It links to Loop, Open APS, Android APS.
I've one amendment to make to my presentation. I said that we got that simplistic slide for the SNA. We got the foundation of that from somebody in Cork. It was actually Mary Murphy sent it to us from up north. So thank you very much for your work on that, and hopefully we didn't mess it up too much for you.
No, I like how you simplify it.
Yeah. We had I had a more complex version, but after I went through the SNA and the headmistress and the clinic a few times,
No, it was the hospital.
it was mainly the hospital. But anyway, it's so thanks for that.
Okay, we take one last question if there. Oh, there's
Just,
3 or 4. Okay, you and then you. Okay, yourself.
Just a question: you going on about chasing as accurate readings as possible on the CGM, and what steps do you take to kind of to experiment with getting better readings?
Calibration.
Yeah,
Timing of calibration.
Yeah, calibration. Making sure. Calibration to start with. Obviously, do it twice a day at least. If you think that the number on your meter looks wrong, do a finger check with it. You need to try to avoid sharp rises and falls, because there's a 20-minute lag between the interstitial fluids from which is taking the measurement and the actual blood. So you need to be avoiding, to the extent that you can, spikes up and down. If you do suspect there is a spike up and down, take a blood measurement anyway. I would suggest if always think before you take a blood glucose, an insulin decision, make an insulin decision or a glucose decision. If you suspect the reading is wrong, do a finger prick as well. Initially after the first day and last day your readings may not be wrong. If the battery is weak, your readings may be a bit out. So there's a checklist online. You can go to maybe or something. Yeah. There's a phrase there called unicorn, which is when you actually do your calibration and it goes, oh my god, it's actually exactly the same as what my CGM says. What a day, we need to celebrate.
But yeah, you can Google actually calibration tips, because Stephen Ponder does a lot of them, and Gary Shiner from Integrated Diabetes Care lists tips for better accuracy through calibration tips.
And I can send this slide on. We did a Nightscout build party a few weeks ago with about 20 people at it, and considering the interest here, it feels like we might be doing a looping version of that in a few months' time. But Suvi Coffee helped us to organise one with just building Nightscout websites, and we got a load of people working on the day, and it was fantastic. So it might be something that we do down the track. That was one of the 80 or so slides that we did on the day. So there's a few tips.
The one thing I would say is never calibrate on the basis of a single drop, a single one, because if you take your blood sugar and then you take it again in the same drop, there can be a whole point in the difference. It could be 9.1 or it could be 10.3 on the same.
We could do up to 6 or 7 finger sticks just on one, if you're not happy with how to get them.
If you're actually going to calibration, it's only twice a day. You want to be absolutely positive that you're telling your CGM what the right number that your blood
Yeah.
sugar's at.
And you need to be stable at the time you're doing
Yeah,
your finger.
you need to be
Oh,
really
yeah,
sure that is your blood sugar. Yeah.
So just hold on, you ask this question. Show of hands though, if we set up like a Facebook group or something for like the DIY Ireland kind of a thing.
There is one.
Facebook, we've got one for that. So
Yeah.
where is that? Yeah, no, you'd say so.
Yeah.
But no, like we can put the link to that group in
Nightscout
here.
Ireland, you can start there. There's Loop UK,
Yeah.
which is all closed loop,
Yeah.
but it's UK now.
But I'm just saying, like, if you want to have, but just for the people, just to get started, because ultimately you want to link into those global communities, because that's where you got
I
the.
think Nightscout Ireland is where the people who've already got Nightscout are, and that's probably the best place
Go to that one
to
then.
Start,
if
yeah.
you're in there.
Just trying to work out where we find ourselves
But there
online.
aren't too many people who are that far down, and
That are
I think the
looking.
global Android APS or
Yeah, for
Open
sure.
APS or whatever sites, they're as good as any, because, like I say, you're probably going to get a faster response when you're doing the stuff at 2 in the morning than you are when.
Okay, 2 more questions. That lady.
You're only using your pump now as your CGM reader. Did you have to source a second pump yourself to
Yeah.
do the closed loop then?
Yeah.
I saw you on Facebook recently looking for
Yeah.
another pump.
So do
actually.
you want to share where you got it?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So Facebook Ireland, has anybody got one of these pumps in a drawer around at home? And John and Mary Therese put their hands up, and I made a beeline to their houses and places of work.
Yeah.
So I
I was
should.
the same. A nice lady in Morganstown, I put a thing up on the adults page. Anybody got like an old combo? And she says, "Oh, I'm not using that. You can have
Yeah,
that."
it's worth saying in the US, like these old pumps are trading at like 500, 600, 700 bucks. In Ireland, like I just want to say, I told the people when they gave me the pump that this is happening. But I suppose for 2 reasons. One is the health service gave it to them for free, so it would have been doing the dog to try and charge €500. But secondly, they just wanted me to, this sounds brilliant, go ahead, give it a go, let me know how you get on. So there is a lot of goodwill among, we're all the same
And
place.
hopefully with the tender coming out now and people's moving pumps, there'll be a lot of the older pumps coming free as well.
I would
Yeah.
say keep asking. There's a lot of people globally who will message me, and I'll do like a raffle and say, if you're looking for a pump, you're a new looper, raise your hand. I'll randomly pick and mail it out. So I'd say keep asking in your.
And there's one for everybody in the audience.
I did not say that.
I have no doubt there are people in the room here who have these pumps in a drawer at home, not like me who threw it out, 2 years ago. Thanks.
Oh my
Can I talk
gosh.
to you later, please? So they're useful, and it sounds like people in this room and outside this room are going to be looking to get their hands on some
Yeah.
of those pumps
Me
in the coming
included.
months.
But it's not for everybody. It's still,
Yeah.
so don't feel under pressure coming here. Oh, this is something I should be doing. It's a lot of work and it's more stress to keep it going, but it's better outcomes. And maybe in some ways you're more likely to do it for your kids than yourself.
So one last question. Oh, Mary. Was there a question from over here? Okay, Mary, jump in.
I just wanted to ask about consumables for that pump that you have gotten off a great person. How do you
Me?
get consumables?
It's the same as the 640G. So the pump the old model pump has the same consumables as the pump I was using.
So that's important to take
Anyway.
over,
Yeah,
like the pump
definitely.
that you can get consumables
Yeah.
for.
I had a big problem going to Roche to get them because they're saying, well, what's your patient number and can you give us a letter from your doctor and this sort of thing. I had a kind chemist who gave me a box on the sly, and then when we went to clinic we were very nervous about telling them anything about open looping because we'd heard of other clinics where they had nearly threatened to take their children away from them. Seriously. But sort of said, well, what would you think of this kind of thing? And in the end we had an open conversation and they said, yeah, we kind of reckoned if anybody would be doing it would be you. But what can we do to help you? And the one thing they could do was give us the consumable. So if there's one thing that you can pester your clinician from to say, well, this is what I need support-wise, is giving you consumables. It's a very good question because they're very expensive to do by yourself.
And I'll say, so if you have a prescription or you're locked into a 640 or 670 and you can get your hands on a cheap or free older Medtronic pump, you can try looping even with your, in warranty non-loopable pump because it does share the same consumables. So if you're looking to try looping and you're locked in right now and you've got something in a year or two where you can choose something else, it might be worth trying that, getting familiar with looping, deciding if it works for you, because that might influence your future choice. for a pump and looping it all. So that's a great way to get started if you've already got access to those consumables.
And sorry, one last point on that is it might be worth considering if you've an older pump and you're moving off it and you might be using it for looping in the future, is to maybe stockpile some of the consumables. I know they will expire, but if you have a few in the drawer, it makes life easier for you or for somebody else.
For the combo, the infusion sets are the same as with the NMS pump.
No.
So you can use most of the consumables of the NMS pump and only buy reservoirs, basically.
Yeah, it's the reservoirs that you need.
They're interchangeable rather than the same.
And the same
Roche do have their own one that they don't promote, obviously, using the Animas set with their pump.
If you look at the label, they're both produced by Unimed.
Oh yeah, we do use the same one, but Roche do want you to use the one that isn't the one for the animal pump. So.
Yeah, obviously each company wants to use their own.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you, and Shane wants to close the event. So
Okay.
almost there.
Sorry guys, I know you want to hit the road, but I have a few thank yous to make. So I don't trust my laptop now, I have to use my phone. All technical difficulties. So firstly, thanks to the Insight Centre for Data Analytics and Science Foundation Ireland who funded this event. Thanks to all the speakers who were absolutely fantastic, especially those coming from abroad, Dana and Katerina and Adrian and Kate. I'm giving them a round of applause. To our volunteers, Tomas, Kieran, Mandy, Maria, my girlfriend Mila, who's just been so supportive and put up with so much over the past few weeks. You've all done Trojan work. Do you want to actually stand up and Maria, Mandy? But the person who we need to thank most of all, of course, is Grania. And her husband Phil, of course. And she said at the start of the day that I did all the work. And there isn't a chance in hell that this event would have happened without Grania. So, Grania, these are for you. Very small. And finally, just to say that there's loads of food left over. So if you want to take it for the long journey home.
Or the short journey home.
Or the short journey home. Yeah, you're more than welcome to it. Okay, thank you very much.